Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Activity Call Live. And now let's hear it for our special guest host, Andy Riddle.
Hey guys, welcome to the Activity Call. Good morning. Thank you, Andy and Jane, for giving us the opportunity to pour into the Alliance Nation and get out there. And I got some of my buddies on here, some of my good friends that are out there kicking butt, taking names, and going after it and chasing big dreams and big goals. So we got a topic today about winning, and that's something I can talk about for like 5 hours. We only got like an hour, so we got to be quick, and I can talk about it for 5 hours my straight. So I got 3 guests, so we got to get through it. So I just wanted to kick it off with a few things, guys. I was sharing with some of my leaders yesterday a message that I read, and it was talking about like we're in mid-February, and a lot of people set like New Year's resolutions and said this year we're going to do this and blah 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 blah, and set these goals. And it's kind of like if you ever hear like people that join the gym like on January 1st, and by mid-January, but definitely by mid-February, they haven't seen the gym in a couple of weeks. If that's the same thing that's happened to your goals, it is time now to change and get back on track to what you're going to do. Set that reset if you have to reset, because you still have time in this year to achieve what you want to do and go out there and win, and just really chase what you set forth on January 1 when you were motivated and saying, we got a new year, we're going to go get it. It's mid-February, you still can get it, and get out there and set that goal and go dominate and go kick butt this year. Some of the things that we've been doing in our group, and we're off to a crazy good start this year. Back in October, I started putting up these crazy goal ideas to a lot of the guys on our team. And back when I said it, and you can even, will even ask these 3 today, like if they actually believed it. I think most of the guys thought I was nuts, and they're just like, oh, this is some stupid thing he's just saying. And I kept saying it. And then we started getting results. People started to buy into it. And these 3 guys today are starting to buy into it. And a crazy thing, and that's a big part about winning, guys, is setting big goals. You need to set big goals, because if you set small goals, you're going to get small results. And setting big, crazy goals and massive goals are things that you have to do. Actually, like thinking the aspects of, having small goals, or I need, like, you hear people say like, you need to have goals that are realistic. Like that's a loser like mentality. Realistic goals, crazy big goals. Nothing ever happens crazy. You think about what Andy and Jane do, and their goals and what they've accomplished. It was crazy goals, and people, how many people have told me that Andy Albright's crazy and blah 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 blah, but he achieves crazy cool things. You know what I mean? Have crazy goals. If you have these small realistic goals, I'm trying to do what's realistic and hit. That's a loser type mentality, and you have a chance now to change your business, to change your life. Let me tell you a story. I heard this story a couple months ago, but back when America was hit in Pearl Harbor, and the Japanese came in and bombed Pearl Harbor, at that time, America was ranked the 19th largest military in the world. Back when they got attacked at Pearl Harbor, that was actually smaller than Portugal's military. Okay. And you think back, I mean, I wasn't alive when I got attacked, but in my lifetime, we've always been the superpower, great military, the biggest in the world. So that's all I've ever known. But if you think back in Pearl Harbor, we're the 19th ranked one. When America realized the threat that we had, within months, they went from the 19th to the largest military in the world in months. So if they can change that in months, you can change your business in months and turn it around and get a growth schedule that you want to do, and really just transform your business into what you want to achieve if you have crazy big goals, if you have crazy goals to do that. And we want to share a little bit about what we're doing to achieve different things and chase these big goals, and kind of dominate. Some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is casting that big vision in your team. So one of our goal is this year, in October of this year, we're going to do $2 million of issue paid business in the Alliance, just our organization, and 2 million. And a lot of these guys are going to go out there, and they're going to be big parts of that. So you need to cast a huge vision in your team that's almost there. You have to cast that vision and put it out there to where they can fit their dreams inside of it, and go out there and cast the vision to do that, and live that vision. Go out there and continue to do it. I have it all over my office. We're going to do 2 million. Every time I log into my phone, um, I mean, it's on my phone in the sense of what we're going to do. I have it on there. So I see it all the time. Every time I open up my phone, I got my reminders, but it's right there. Road to 2 million right here. Every time I open my phone, it's actually the background too. When I open up my phone, I just see it all the time. If you come to our office, it's on the TVs here. It's on the walls here. It's in front of us all the time. It's in front of me all the time. And that vision to help me realize that we're going to do it. Because when I said it, I was like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but it was where we said it and we're going after it. The first month we were doing in October, November, December, we're between $500,000 and $600,000 organization. In January, we did 860,000. This month, we're actually pacing to do more than that, even though February is a short month. We're still pacing more to do more than 860,000. In March, I'm saying it right now, the Riddle organization is going to do $1 million and pacing to hit that 2 million by October. And it's crazy because when we said it and we weren't having crazy growth, we weren't doing those things, but we set that vision out there. And then the second thing we do is we cast vision. So like Mia needs to know what's in it for her. What's she going to get? How's it going to change her life? How's it going to change her team's life? What's it going to do? It's not doing 2 million for me and making me feel great that we did 2 million. It's what's it going to do for her team and her life and all the people on her team. And Sean and Taylor, the same thing. Omar, the same thing. Terry and Tia, all the great leaders that we have. What's it going to do for them and their business? How's it going to change their life? And then the third thing is going to be how you hold yourself accountable. I've traveled every single week this year because I have a crazy big goal. I need to be out there doing what I need to do. And a lot of these guys are doing the things that they need to do to hit their goals inside that 2 million and doing it. So thinking of that. So we're going to talk a lot about those things today. There's another story I've heard. And it really opened me up to thinking why to change this. Because I mean, we've been growing the last couple of years at like 10 to 15%, good growth. Everyone's like, oh, congratulations, you're growing, blah, 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 blah. And it's frustrating because what I was feeling wasn't the growth that we needed to have. Not everyone was getting what they really deserved and what they wanted fast enough. And when I heard this story, it made me think of what we had to change. So I heard this story about this village that was at war. And they're at war with another village and they were losing the war and the enemy came in and took over the town. And when they took over the town, they jailed all the strong young men. They put them all in jail because those were the threat to fight back. So they put them in jail, and in jail, they had no beds. It was terrible conditions and everything in the jail. They had dirty water, no beds. The food was crap. They were just jailed in this terrible environment. And they're wrongly imprisoned because they were just imprisoned because of their young, healthy men, and they were a threat to the other village. So there was 4 businessmen, wealthy, successful people in the town that said they wanted to help out. The first one went to the jail and said, they don't have clean water. I'm wealthy. I would like to provide clean water to the jail. So they have clean water to bathe in, clean water to drink. And really just help these prisoners out to give them clean water so they have better conditions in jail. And he felt like the jail granted his wish and he was able to provide clean water. And he's like, now I've given everything. I've fulfilled my mission in life. I've given back and I've helped these prisoners out. The second guy found out that they had no beds. So he provided beds and blankets so they could sleep on something other than the ground. And after the prison granted it and he felt fulfilled, like he gave them the prisoners of the jail what they needed to do and how they could live in comfort in jail. The third guy found out that the food was terrible, so he wanted to provide higher quality food, and the jail they let him provide it. They granted that wish, so he felt fulfilled his destiny of helping these people. What those 3 of those successful people did, though, is they helped people be comfortable in misery, in suffering. They're in jail. So they were more comfortable in jail. And that's how I felt with our team. It's like with us growing at 10%, I was giving them comfort, but in jail. How do we set them free? And the fourth wealthy person, instead of giving something and making them feel more comfortable, gave them the keys to get out of the prison and set them free. And what Andy and Jane have done with us with the Alliance is given us the keys to set ourselves free. It's when you are given the keys, what are you going to do with them? are you going to set yourself free? Are you going to go out there and actually set yourself free and set your family free? Or are you just going to live in comfort misery? And I wanted to be the guy that gave the keys to some great people so they could set themselves free and go chase their dreams and the things that they wanted to do. So there was actually, when they asked us to do the call and asked me to get some guests on here, it was actually hard to do because I was like, they limited me to 3. And I'm like, how do I pick 3 of all the great people that we have out there trying to set themselves free right now and going to chase things? So I picked these 3. I could have picked 10 other guys. So guys and girls, but it's these 3 that I really just love what they're doing, and they're buying into that vision of $2 million and the visions of what they set for their teams and changing what they're going to do, and really just creating that dominating urgency inside their businesses of going out there and doing it now. And they have the urgency to go out there and start doing it and putting the action behind it. And when I say urgent, I'm saying like, kind of like we're coming off the Super Bowl and Omar's hat, so he's helping me here. But it's kind of like at halftime when Kansas City was down. It's that urgency Patrick Mahomes had in the second half where he just picked them apart and took them down the field time after time after time after time. But it's that urgency to go out there and win, and that urgency to consistently do it, kind of like the Tom Brady or whatever. It's the urgency to win, but they're not frantic. I always think of the frantic. It's like that mother that has kids and hasn't bought them a present, and it's for Christmas yet, and it's Christmas Eve, and they're running around Walmart about to kill somebody because they're fighting over the last toy or whatever. Like, we're not looking for that kind of urgency. We're looking for that precision, like just urgency to go out there, non-frantic, just go out there and win. And these guys are starting to do that and really just taking off in their business in the way they do that they go out there and do things. So I want to start with Sean and Taylor. They've gone out there the last couple of months. We started working a lot together late last year and talking a lot, and they've changed a lot of things in their business and the things that they're doing, and they're just getting urgent and not frantic in their business. Last month they hit agency managers, so they're recognized agency managers. They're tracking for DM this month, so they'll be recognized district managers and qualified agency managers. And it's just cool to watch how quick things turned around for them when they started making changes in winning. And they're not rich. They're not bringing in millions of dollars yet, but they're on the path to do it. And as long as they continue to do these things that we've set the groundwork of doing, it's really cool. Like, we were going to talk last night about a couple things, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, I'm working with a bunch of my new agents. Can we talk tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's that kind of stuff. You have guys in the fight, going out there, helping people and doing the extra, doing the urgent stuff to get things going in the right way. So Sean and Taylor, love to hear kind of what you guys have been doing and kind of things that you're changing to make sure that you guys can cast that vision for your team. I know you got a bunch of people on your team that are really rallying around the vision of going DM and continuing to grow and helping them get to agency manager. So kick it over to you guys.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for having us on the call. And thank you, Jane and Andy Albright, too, for giving us the opportunity to even do this, right, and speak. But what we're doing different, well, actually, hold on, before that, the reason why you picked Omar and myself is because winners do like the Eagles, and the Eagles are a winning team. Anyway, so just before that. But really what we started to do was listen. And that's funny. And just some things that helped me out in what you were saying back in October, late last year, was this 2 million goal. And, besides just the 2 million goal, you really wanted me, like you convinced me to want to help you, right? So I felt like this was a collective team effort, and I'm like, dude, I'm on Andy Riddle's team. Like, I'm trying to get him to 2 million. Like that's my goal, and whatever I can do to help you get there is like, that's good for me. So what we started to do was take that mindset that you gave to us and put it into our team, if that makes sense. So we're like, hey guys, we're going to try and hit this agency manager thing. How much of that do you want to be? Like, I can't do it by myself. And just really duplicating a lot of things that that you're telling us. Making leaders, Tanisha Freeman, crushing it right now. Trying to make her a leader. Lavetta McDuffie, trying to make her a leader. Like we have a ton of other people, just to name drop a few. We're just trying to make them better than what they were yesterday. And then we stop complaining. Like we would, not all the time, but we'd complain. It's like, oh, well, they only did 2,000 this month, or our team only did 3,000 this month. It's like, but they're doing something. And why are we complaining about other people when we could be complaining about ourselves? Like, what type of leader does that? Like, you shouldn't be complaining about your people. You should be helping them. You should be doing things that help them grow instead of sitting behind and sulking about it. So that's kind of what changed for me.
Yeah. And, you know, when we were writing out our goals for the year in January, and then we came to you and talked about our goals, like, I think we had, by the end of the year, we wanted to be regional manager. And you were like, oh, I had you guys down for EVP. And that blew my mind. I was like, we can do that? And then you made us believe that we could do that. And now we're on track to do it. It's just super exciting. And just being able to come to you for all our different little problems in our organization, in our little company. And you just make it like, they're really not that complicated. Yeah. They're not as complicated as it seems. And just being able to learn from you to handle different types of situations is awesome.
Yeah, and huge help. Like, we've been taking advice and digging into the alliance. Like you said, like we talked to Omar, he helped us. You know, Brian's been talking to our team a lot. Stephanie, Michelle, all them and they don't have to do that. So we're taking your advice, doing everything that you're telling us to do, even though sometimes I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'll do it, you know. I'd rather be rich than wrong, right or right.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy, man, how fast things can switch. You know what I mean? It's like when we started talking late last year, I felt like you guys felt like down and out, like it's not happening. It's almost impossible to happen. And now you guys are basically DMs and have the structure to do that and the team to do that. And it's almost like second nature now. It's like, what's next? You know, how do I move to the next thing? It's when in December, as long ago as December was 2 months ago, you were like, there's no way in the world we're ever going to hit DM. And now you're like in February, and it's that quick change. It's that quick changes of the things that you did. And it's a lot of casting the vision with your team, like casting the vision. I mean, coming off the Super Bowl, and I know we're joking about the Eagles and stuff, but I mean, the reason they were successful was, I guarantee their first practice, they cast the vision of winning the Super Bowl. I guarantee it. If they didn't do it, they would have got nowhere near it. You know what I mean? And if you think back at the beginning of the year, I mean, I pick on Omar all the time about it, but it's like, they were not expected to be good. Like, they're going to be good, but not like Super Bowl good. And then not only were they Super Bowl good, they were pretty much the best team the entire year, you know? And you think back, well, they were good all year. If you look back at the beginning of the season, you can ask Omar, Eagles fan, they weren't expected to win their division. They weren't expected to make the playoffs. You know, all the experts didn't think they were that good, but the vision that they casted inside their locker room is all that matters. So in all the experts looking at Sean and Taylor, like, well, they're not going to make it. They're not doing the right things. They're not doing this stuff. But once you get them to cast that right vision, it switches immediately. Casting the vision inside your team and getting them buy-in, it's the three things that are important. One is you casting a large vision that your team can fit inside of. Two, it's showing them what's in it for them. And the third thing is fulfilling the promises to your team. You know, it's one of the things I love with Sean and Taylor. They cast the big vision for their team. They show their team what it's going to do for them. And the third thing is they go out there and do the actions to help them. You know, I was like super proud last night when Sean's like, I can't talk tonight because we're helping these new agents get their apps in because they're trying to hit their goals too. It's like, can we talk tomorrow? I'm like, heck yes. I was like, that fired me up. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Because he's fulfilling what he told them they would do. You know what I mean? I will help you get to your goal, and I would continue to do it. And he fights for them. And that's why they're growing. That's why they got things going, because they cast that vision. They show them how it's going to do it, and they back it up. And I'm just super proud of how you guys do that stuff and working with your team and continue to grow and continue to do stuff. Your guys, Sean and Taylor are some of the most coachable people that I've ever worked with. Like, they take stuff and they don't always like it. Like Sean said, it's
No.
like, we explain it in a different way and different stuff. And then and I, but once they buy into it, they just do. And that's it's such a blessing to work with people like that, because they just go after it and they go do things and they put things in place, and the momentum starts building. In that sense. It's, where they felt like they're at war and getting blown up, like at Pearl Harbor, within a couple of months, they've turned it around and they're becoming one of the bigger teams in my organization. And they continue to do that. They're going to become one of the bigger teams in the Alliance. And that's the aspects that momentum and changing things around very quickly in that winning attitude. And it's those three things. And I just think back to when I was getting started, kind of similar to you guys when I was at the beginning, the visions that Andy Albright always casted in my head is the reason why I grew. It's not for the money. It wasn't for that. It was the visions he's always casted. And when I grew the most is when the vision that he casted for me, and Andy's goals and dreams, like he thinks so much bigger than I do. But every dream and every time I talk to him, what the vision he's casted, my goals have always been inside of it. So it's important in the aspects like that $2 million goal for us. It's like, if Mia's goal was 3 million, we'd be in trouble. You know what I mean? I'd be like, well, I got to make mine bigger because hers got to fit inside of it. You know what I mean? And we want Mia at 3 million. Yes, we need her there quick. And doing that stuff. So if she has that $3 million goal, I want it. You know what I mean? I just got to raise mine up, and go do it. But it's having that goal and that vision, having that clear picture. And sometimes for me, it's being someone that likes sports and I've always watched sports. Watching like a team in the NFL, it's clear cut what their vision is. At least the winning teams, they're expected to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Not just Kansas City went into the season thinking they're going to win the Super Bowl. Now there may have been some teams that don't think that way, but they're probably like the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans that have the first and second draft pick of the draft. And that's what the results of that stuff are. I would hope to think that when they started the same time the Eagles did in preseason, or the Kansas City started, they had the goal of winning the Super Bowl and just didn't fulfill it. But they may not have, you know what I mean? But the ones that did have that did achieve great things this season. And what is your Super Bowl? Our team Super Bowl is going to be 2 million in October. 2 million in October. 1 billion in March is not our goal, but that's what's necessary to hit 2 million in October. We can't keep doing what we've been doing last year. We can't do 600,000 in September and all of a sudden, boom, we're going to do 2 million in October. That's not going to happen. These are the steps that we're taking, but we're growing and having these steps to go through it and fulfill those things. And we're in the preseason. Our regular season just started in January. We're in month 2. Going towards that, and we're building towards that Super Bowl where we're going to go out there and achieve 2 million. And it's having that stuff. And I just love, Sean Taylor, how you guys have your goals and your teams and how you're going out there and fighting for them to do those things. What are some big things, like what would you say was maybe one or two of the biggest things that you've changed that you're doing today that you weren't doing in November?
The biggest, a lot more urgency, just all around for ourselves. Like, you set up a goal, which, by the way, I was like, this is no way that this is going to work, right? Where you're like, you have to.
I thought there was no way we're going to do it.
Like, where you're telling us, okay, well, in 2 days, you need to issue pay the same amount that you would in a whole week. I'm like, there's no way. Like, like, come on, let's get realistic, right? That's the loser mentality. So we started believing in that. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, we've done it once we started thinking in that way. And then, yeah, it's just a lot of just, again, it's digging into the leaders here, into everybody. Like, you tell us to do something and we do it, right? That's the biggest
Yeah.
biggest change.
That's
is
really the biggest thing.
We ask, you tell us what we should be doing, and then we do it. It's not rocket science. Like, it's not like, I didn't change my shirt and it, boom, there it was, right? Like, I didn't wear the, oh, we're going DM shirt, or this is the EVP shirt. Like, it wasn't a magic pill. We had to put more work into it. We had to think differently.
And the thing I love about that, what you're saying is, like, you didn't understand like what you would normally write in a week to do it in 2 days in the field. And what we're doing is open it up so you could actually work in your business and not just be salespeople all week long with every hour you did. And a lot of times when you do that, it's kind of like when I put that $2 million goal out. I drew this out, and it's how we're going to do 2 million with through the teams and what each team's going to do. But it's when you draw that out and it's like, that's impossible. And then we draw it out how to do it and start thinking of ways to do it. And it's not perfect. We've had to make adjustments here and there and change things up, and in your guys' life, there's been things like hiccups, like stuff's happened, and you've called me and say, hey, this happened. What should we do now? It's not that we gave up on that goal or that change. We just changed how we are going to do it. And it's just like, change, let's go, let's hit it and go. And it's awesome watching how you guys have changed some things. I know when you guys had a car breakdown, you're down to one car, and it's like, how do we switch this? We're not switching the goal. We just have to adjust on how we do it. You know what I mean? And now you got 2 cars, you got back to 2 cars. How do we switch it back and to multiply it? It's that aspect of when you change that stuff, the goal doesn't change. You know what I mean? It's like that Super Bowl goal never changed for either one of those teams. You know what I mean? It never changed, and stuff happened. Quarterbacks got hurt, players got hurt, important players got hurt, things happened. So many things happened to those teams, but guess what? That goal never changed, but they had to change up ways they do it. And that's what's going to happen in this business. And that's what's happened with you guys. And you guys have been quick to change and make those changes. And it's just awesome watching you guys go out there and fight and have your team fight for these kind of things and really just make these changes. I love the momentum that you guys have as you go hit DM this month and your team continues to grow. And I'm just excited to see like I was talking to someone the other day, because it's like, I think it was Brian Rojas I was talking to, and I was like, I don't know if it's just I love money, because when I get money, big paychecks, I work harder the next week. It's like, because I want to make it even bigger, or it just, we post our weekly paychecks. And I think what I really like seeing is, like, back last year, we post the top 10 paychecks every single week, and like 2,500 to 3,000 would usually get you in the top 10. Like the last 3 weeks or last 4 weeks, you've had to be, I was picking on Michelle last night, Michelle Colin. Last week her paycheck was 5,400 and she was 11th. So she didn't get on the report. And anyone that's not in the top 10 finished 11th, just so you know. So everyone was 11th, but it was like she was at 5,400 and she did not make the report. And I was like, that is awesome to me, because that's people going out there and winning and getting bigger paychecks and being able to open up. It's given them the keys to get free. And they're deciding to get free with the keys. They're letting themselves out of jail instead of just sitting in that comfort. Oh, they gave me a bed, they gave me clean water, they gave me food, I'm just going to stay in here because it's comfortable. No, they took the keys and got uncomfortable and got free. And those people are doing it week in and week out, and their paychecks are growing, which fires me up. And I know your paycheck's been growing, and your people on your team's paychecks have been growing. So I love that. Anything you want to throw out there that I missed or didn't ask you?
Yeah, just a lot of big thank yous just to the people who have been helping us, because you've been helping us. But like, I'm not going to be able to name everybody, but a few like Jason and Olga, Marnie, Frank, Sabrina, Frank, Jimmy Leo's been big help. The team down in Treasure Island, so Big Mike, Brian, Stephanie, Michelle. Just all those people, just huge thank you, because like we wouldn't be in the opportunity and position that we're in right now without those people, without you. So just, thank you all for the help.
That's awesome, because it's going to take a team effort for you guys. You know what I mean? It's not you Taylor, as great as you guys are, won't hit EVP without help. And it's good that you guys, it's awesome that you recognize them too, because it is important, because they do help you. And that's awesome. So I'm fired up for you guys and super proud of what you guys are doing. So keep it up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Omar, now you get to defend your guys. But Omar, I mean, me and you have been buddies. We've been talking a lot, and you transitioned and doing a lot of stuff and different things that you do. And you've always been willing to step out and try stuff and do stuff. But I just love the aspects. And so Omar's team, Omar hit agency manager last year, and he's kind of like Tiger Woods. Like, I remember when Tiger Woods was great, he'd be like the best player in the world, and then he would decide to change his swing. And I'd be like, why are you doing that? And then he'd become great, the best in the world again, but even better. And Omar's like that guy. He's like changing up and doing things. And Omar's team is growing. He's doing different things, and he's getting uncomfortable from things that he used to not do. You know, Omar, I know he's not home because that's not his house behind him. So he's out on the road fighting, building his business. And it's just cool watching you grow and you as a person and doing different things that you did a year ago today, or even heck, 3 months ago. You know, Omar's out in Kansas City. He has a new guy that just got licensed, so he went out to Kansas City. I know Marcus did a boot camp out in Kansas City, so they went to that, and he's out there working with his new agent, getting him up and going, and just traveling and making smarter decisions to how to get his team winning. And he's out there helping and fighting his team to win, to help them hit their goals and achieve his goals. And he's setting the steps up to let himself free, let him out of that prison and get him free and his family free. And it's just cool watching him take those steps. So Omar, take it away, man. Tell me kind of like what you've changed over the last few months and the things that you're doing and how you're going out there and growing your team and kind of setting that vision for your group.
Yeah, appreciate it, Andy. Last 3 months I've been changing and just holding myself accountable and seeing why things haven't moved faster, the way I want them to be. Yeah, I'm out there selling and, doing in-home and doing stuff over the phone and just doing a whole bunch of things to grow my business, as a employee, but I wasn't growing my business. And then when you told me, you're like, I need you to hit 55,000. And, when we're going for that 2 million, I was like, 55,000. And then my first reaction when you told me that, I was like, okay, what do I got to do to hit 55,000 by myself? Because I'm always in that mentality, in the selling mentality. And you were like, no, I want you to do it as a team. So that's when I started looking back at myself, because I would give excuses. I was like, well, it's not the right time. I don't have the extra funds or anything like that. And it was just the wrong mentality. So I had to look back at myself and I analyzed myself, and kind of back what even Marcus was talking about yesterday, is holding yourself accountable. And when I'm just going to be vulnerable and tell you the truth and exactly, how it is. And I'm going to say my finances. So I forget what the app's called, but it tells you your finances and your spending. And I went over it with Emma, with my wife, yesterday. And I was like, we already spent $1,000 eating out in the month of February. The month of February is not over yet. And I was like, if we did that every single month, that'd be $12,000 that we would spend on eating out. And if I look back, and instead of kind of like the first step of what Marcus talked about for holding accountability, of ignoring and denying. I was ignoring and I was denying of where my money was going, where I could put that towards the business to grow it. And, kind of going back to what Andy Albright says, if I put $12,000 into growing my business, I'd be making an extra 50,000, or I would be minimum 55,000. That'd be minimum. That put me at $100,000 a month if I was to put that back and grow my business. So it's going back and looking at yourself. So what I've been doing, I've been analyzing myself and where I can get better, and I never put the blame on anybody else, but I was always just making the excuses. My biggest thing was ignoring. I would ignore and I would deny. Or like or you would even call me out on it. You're like, when you would tell me something how to get better, I would laugh. I'd be like, and you were like, there goes that laugh again. And that's because, because I act confused, and I wouldn't do exactly from what you're telling me. And that's just one another steps. There's 6 steps that even Marcus went over last night, that there's things that we do that we don't hold ourselves accountable. But you guys will get a class from that another time. You'll have to bother Marcus on that one. I'll let Marcus finish that. So good luck, Marcus, at the next event. You're going to have to go over that. But So yeah, so the one thing I just wanted to talk about is just holding yourself accountable. Do you really look at yourself and analyze yourself? And that's what I've been doing differently. I've been not stuck, but I've been doing, 20,000 or 25,000, and I just been accepting that. So now it's like, I can do that. I should be able to do, my goal should be 15,000 a week, and how I can get those numbers to do. But also when I'm bringing people on, so like right now I brought in Troy out here in Kansas. We were in school together for finance for Harley Davidson, and he just got his license. He was in the military like me, in the Air Force. He did a long time in the Air Force. He was in the car business. He's into sports, and we both had that same mindset. So I was like, that's the type of people that I want on my team, because I can relate. So now I'm just starting to grow, and then that's why I came out here, so I can teach them how I'm doing 25,000. I've written 40,000, but I know if I've written 40,000 before, I can show him, even if he did half as me and did 20,000, or if he did 15,000, we would be at 55,000 by October. My goal is 100,000 in October as a team.
I'm
not going to let you put
100.
I'm not going to let you
next month.
Right. I'm not going to let you put me at 55. I want to make bigger goals. So if I do miss it and I hit 85 or 90, I'm not going to be mad. So just like you said, I'm reaching for the higher goals. And also Adam Katz, that welcomed me and Troy there here in Kansas City to come to their boot camp with Marcus. It was great. It was just the team effort, and everyone that, with the way that Andy and Jane built this business, I'm able to come out here and feel comfortable, even though they're not a part of Riddle's organization, but we're still all here. But everything that you said, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm holding myself accountable, but now I get to show Troy exactly how to do it. And I'm not saying that I'm better at selling him. He's probably even better than me, but he also wants to build. He wants to grow a business, as well. So now I'm going to lean more towards on you and getting more help from everyone else that's been building, because me and him were good at the selling part. But I'm not going to say I'm great at selling. Of course, I can always get better. I'm always learning. But the building part is, instead of denying and ignoring that part, even though I know that's going to build, I'm holding myself accountable and not giving the excuses. So that's the big change that where I'm at. And it's just crazy. If you analyze your numbers, I'm really big on analyzing, but yeah, I analyzed it, but I didn't do anything about it. And that was the other thing that Marcus went over yesterday. He says you have to see it, you own it, solve it, and do it. So I can analyze all I want and know the problem's there, but if I don't do anything about it and put anything towards it, then I'm not going to get the results that I want. And the only person I can blame is myself. I can't blame you. I can't blame, anything. So
You said a couple things there that really jumped out to me. So one of the things is when you bought into the vision of what we're doing and casted that vision, like, you've known Troy for years. Like, why just now? So you think about it, is I hear people all the time, it's like, good people don't come into my business. I don't know good people. I can't find good people. The second you bought into the vision, Troy comes into your business. People like to join a mission. People like to join a vision. And when you cast that vision, magically, the guy you've known for years is interested in the business. Okay. So it's casting that vision. And then the other thing you talked about is, like, when you went through your finances with Emma and you did different things, it's when you have that big dream, even though that when we said 100,000 for you felt impossible, but you casted that vision and started doing it, you started demanding greatness inside yourself and making different decisions. And it's weird. When you put that crazy big goal out there, you make different decisions and you attract different people into your life. If you ever watch something like the NBA is going through their trade deadline right now, and a couple, like, some players are getting buyouts and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, all of a sudden everyone wants to play for the Phoenix Suns because Kevin Durant's there and they're like the favorites. It's like, no one wanted to play for the Phoenix Suns before last week when he got traded. But once it's there, once greatness is there, everyone is attracted to it. You know what I mean? It's like, trade me to the Phoenix Suns. We'll go win a championship. Everyone was attracted to that. Omar, you set something, attracted Troy comes into your business, and you set that and you have to start living it, and it demands greatness for you to make changes to achieve it. It's that winning formula to go out there and do it. It's the same. It's the Eagles, they came up slightly short, but they have that winning mentality. They have that winning culture. They have that winning atmosphere. Guess what? They'll be good again next year. They'll be good. Will they win it? I don't know. We'll find out. But they'll be good because they have that winning idea, that big dream. They create the culture. They demand greatness from each other, and they hold themselves accountable to go out there and do it. And that's what you're doing. You've always been that to me. You hold yourself accountable and do that, but now you're creating that inside of a team with other guys in your team. It's just fun to watch, man. It's cool to watch, and it's cool to watch you make decisions because, heck, 2 or 3 months ago, if you had a guy that started, in Kansas City, you probably wouldn't have been in Kansas City to help him. I could help him over Zoom, or I can do phone calls like that, but it's so important to get out there and just hang out with Troy and stuff. I'll remember his name because I'll just think of your son. You know what I mean? It's like an easy name for me to remember. But it's knowing the aspects of going, what the changes that you made and making that decision. Hey, I need to get out to Kansas City because it's a demanding greatness of yourself. You know what I mean? It's demanding greatness of yourself to achieve that stuff. And I'm super proud to watch you do that stuff and make those decisions. They're not easy decisions. Guess what? He's married and has kids. Guess what? There's stuff going on at home. I don't, how do I know that? He's married and has kids. I just know, you know what I mean? I'm sure Emma didn't say, go and do whatever you want for a couple days and just life will be perfect. I'm sure that didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's stuff happens, but and he's got it on the page and things that you do. It's cool to watch that and the urgency to get out there and not wait for, it's like, I also have heard people say, once Troy writes 20,000, I'll get out there. You know what I mean? And it's like your urgency to get out there. You know what I mean? And then when he doesn't write 20,000, he's about to quit. They get frantic and they're like, I gotta go out there. That's the frantic mom buying all the presents on Christmas Eve and getting fights in Walmart. You know what I mean? The Tom Brady, the Patrick Mahomes or whatever makes the late drives down in games and gets the win is the guy that prepares early and goes out there early and starts setting the groundwork to set that up. And you're doing that. And it's fun to watch. The key is, and this goes to Sean and Taylor and you, it's like you guys are getting hot in your business. You know what I mean? The key is you're starting to create momentum. You're getting hot. You're getting in the zone. You're getting that in. A lot of people get hot and then they're like, oh, cool down. I got hot. It's getting hot and staying hot. How do you get hot and stay hot? So Omar, what's your plan of you're getting hot? How are you going to stay hot to continue to do this growth going? I didn't tell you this question. Yeah. So I'm hitting you with it.
Well, just to continue to, and what I've made a mistake before, and was I would get so attached with one person, and then I would just stay there. So how do I continue to be hot? Because I've had other agents that had great momentum, but then I would stop on growing, and I would just grow with that one person, kind of like, just gave them all the attention, which is fine, but I didn't continue growing my business. So it got cold and then when something happened in their life and then they didn't, my business started to fall. So now I came out early. Like you said, I came out early to help out Troy and give him the vision and show him exactly how everything works and show him how to make phone calls, show him how to do this, show him how the business, how we hit how I hit the numbers, how I did it. And I know how he can do it because we come from the same background. And then continue how I can build him to grow a business because that's what he wants, and that's what I learned from you is that don't just go out there and show him what's good for me, but also what he wants in the business. And if he wants to grow a business, let's help him grow. And that way, so when I help him grow, it's going to keep my organization growing. And what I did before, I would just show him exactly on what's going to help, instead of just helping them just on that one person, but help their business grow. And I didn't do that. I just did the surface part and I didn't go underneath and be able to help them grow a big business for them to stay.
Right.
If that makes sense. I taught them how to sell. Great, good job. But that's not the outcome of what they're looking for, what they want, and also for yourself. So if you help them get what they want, you'll get what you want by helping them grow. And if you help them grow, that's what's going to keep that fire lit, and that's what's going to be different this year. So that's my change. That's going to do differently this year than what I did last year. As long as I keep analyzing, and I keep not just analyzing and knowing, but actually doing it and applying it, then that's how I think that's how I know that we'll be better than we were last year.
Yeah, because last year you were doing the mother hen. You'd sit down and wait for them to hatch, and when they hatch, you just and do that, and then it would die, and then you'd have to birth another one to sit on it, mother hen. It would be hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And when he's got Troy out there in Kansas City, but he's got a bunch of other guys coming on too, and he's gonna have to go do them. And the cool thing is when he goes out there and helps Troy wasn't interested in building a business until Omar texted me last night. He's like, "Hey, I helped Troy with this, and now he wants to build a big business." And it's like, okay, what changed? Omar went there. You know what I mean? It's like it's getting that aspects going, and that's how he's going to stay hot. And I just love what you're doing, how you're getting hot and staying hot this time and doing the right stuff and continuing to do the right stuff, dude. Super proud of what you guys got going on. Super proud of you getting uncomfortable and going out there and just taking the lead of your team and going out there and setting the example of greatness, and doing things that are uncomfortable, man. He was texting me. We were talking the other day when he left. He's like, it was 65 when I left Nashville, and it's snowing now. I was like, yeah, that happens. I was like, I live in Florida, man. It's hard to leave here a lot of times. I was up in Charlotte in North Carolina like 3 weeks ago. It was like 20 degrees and it was 85 down here in Florida, and I wanted to leave every second I was there. It's like it was cold and not snowing, Omar. Omar's told me it can be too cold to snow. It must have been that in North Carolina, but it was cold to snow, so it was like ugly cold. You know what I mean? It was just brown and everything looks dead and all that kind of stuff. It didn't have the pretty white stuff all over the place, so I had to deal with ugly cold up there. So, but again, super proud of what you guys doing. I love what you're doing. I see winning happening for you guys, and if you continue to do the stuff you're doing, it's going to continue to grow and grow. And honestly, 100,000 is probably low for you by October. If you continue doing this stuff, it will just take off. It'll take off, especially when you get people like a Troy that wants to build and wants to do things, and you set the example of the vision, cast the vision to him, cast the vision to his team, and then fulfill those promises like you're doing. You continue to do that, it's going to take off. Like you'll grow so fast, it'll be like, Omar's a miracle worker. Like, I don't know what he's doing, and he's just it's doing those things and just sticking to it and getting hot and staying hot. So awesome job, man. Super proud of you. Keep it up. And
thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you and the team, and everyone that's in your organization, everyone that's on this call, me and Sean, and just good examples. And from Terry, Jason, Olga, Jerry, Lou, everybody on your team, but it all comes from your leadership and teaching us on how to do this business. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh, awesome. We appreciate you. Great job. All right, Mia drove me up to Charlotte, got me up to Charlotte when it was freezing cold, made me freeze a couple weeks ago. But Mia's been with the Alliance now, and she's been doing things, have hit levels, but she's on fire right now. She's one of those people, probably when I said in October that we're going to do 2 million, was like, he's full of crap, but something changed in Mia. I remember Terry called me. I was doing some goal setting stuff with Terry and Tia, and I was talking to them, and they're like, Mia just wants to sell now. She's not going to build a team anymore. She's just going to do this and be comfortable. And it made me think of like, well, we gave her a bed, so she wants to stay in jail in bed because it's a comfortable bed. You know what I mean? She didn't want it. She doesn't want it. We gave her the key, but she just wants to stay there because it's comfortable, because it's got clean water, a nice bed, and food. But she's going to stay there. But I was like, okay. And Terry and Tia didn't try to talk her out of it. I didn't try to talk her out of it. But something changed in Mia, and she's on fire in a way. It's funny. We were talking before we got on the call, and she said something that really jumped out to me. Mia's just hit recognized national manager. She's pacing to hit it to be qualified for this month, which is crazy for someone that didn't want to grow a team 2 months ago to be national manager qualified probably by the end of this month. Definitely tracking that way. And then she said to someone on the call, someone said, good job on national manager. She said, well, that's just a step because I'm going partner. And it,
Right.
you guys heard it, right? I think we're muted at that point, but I know Sean and Taylor heard it, Omar heard it, and then she just said it, and I was just like, Boom, let's do it. Crazy big goal. She's casting a vision. She's saying it out loud. Now, it was only like 4 of us on there, but I just repeated it on here, so it's true. And now she's got to show her team what that looks like for them and what it's going to do for them, and then she's got to fulfill that stuff, and it'll lead to greatness. But I'm just super proud of you, Mia. Could you talk a little bit about that transition from the conversation that I had with Terry and Tia? And then the funny thing is you called me like the next day and told me the exact same thing. So I knew they weren't lying. And then it felt like 2 weeks later, you're like, I was stupid. I shouldn't do that. I'm building a big. So can you kind of walk through that and kind of like change for you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, that happened on January 6th when I texted you. And I talked to Tia and Terry a few days before. What was going on with me? And I had been talking to Terry about having the heart and building the business with your heart. I had been talking to him about that for years. And I thought I knew what that meant. My situation coming from not making any money at all because I was laid off from my job to making 6 figures, and I've been making 6 figures for the past few years. It started off for me being about money because I needed to make money. But once you start making money, what is your reason for really continuing to build with your heart, right? And that's where I was in December of last year. I needed to be able to be in a place where I was fighting for something bigger than money, right? And man, that conversation, seeing how supportive you and Terry and Tia were when I told you what I wanted to do and just switch to selling and all that stuff, you didn't put any pressure on me. But the business put pressure on me as a whole because Terry and Tia were having a huge month. And then I have people in my organization below me who are having huge months. And then I'm making a decision in the middle to just not grow. It made no sense. So when we went to NatCon, I took a group with me to NatCon, and practically all of them were new. And they came back so excited, so on fire, and it re-sparked inside of my heart why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for other people. And it's been the most rewarding, fulfilling, exciting experience that I've had so far in my business. I've been here for 4.5 years, and I have never felt the way that I feel right now being a part of this team. You guys, the support, the encouragement has been out of this world. But I will tell you, Andy, I got some people on my team who are fighting for themselves and their families. Kathy Hepburn, who really came out of nowhere. She used to be full-time, had a full-time job, and then she decided to come on full-time with us. In the past few months, this girl has been running me down when it comes to issue paid business. That right there was sparking a fire up under me. Then I have a girl who in 3 months of working with me coaching her name is Abby G. You will see her on the leaderboard. She's watching right now. She has started making more money part-time working with us only on weekends than she makes on her job. Stuff like that. I have a girl named Tania out in Raleigh, Tanisha here in Monroe, my sister who's about to write a huge annuity, and she works with us part-time. That is what it is. It's the spark. It's the eyes of the people on our team. It's the heart for this business. It's the heart for making sure that people are getting more out of this than money, because money is great. I cannot deny I've had an incredible, been able to create a great lifestyle, travel, do the things that I want, experience, new things with my loved ones. But now it's bringing on other people to do the same thing. So I'm just like, my mind is blown. There's no way I can go back. And man, look, you said you wanted it to be get to 2 million. At last year, around October, Terry probably remembers this. He said, Mia, you can get to $100,000 by the end of 2023. We're almost at $100,000, and it's only February. A month.
It's crazy, Mia, because I just pulled up your numbers while you were talking, and it's I don't want to, it's like the end of last year, I would say your vision was small, if not like gone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to sell. And when she had a small or gone vision, her team did 40,000 and then 30,000 in November, December. The vision was sparked in January. They did 86,000 in January, and they're pacing for 90 some thousand in February. The second vision came there, things changed.
Yep.
Once the vision's there, and now she's in November and December, she probably thought her team was dead. And now it's more alive and more crazy. She just told you the names that she was throwing out there. I was texting with Chelsea the other day. She's fired up. You know, she's just as crazy as Mia is. So they're both you guys might as well be twins, because it's like they're both excited. They're both on fire. They're both doing stuff, and it's just super. It's so much more fun in this business when there's a vision and people are chasing it. And it's so much more fun in your business. It's fun dealing with you. It's fun dealing with Chelsea. It's fun having those conversations because the little things aren't bothering you. They still happen, but it's kind of like, it's what Andy says, a dog in a hunt has no fleas. You know what I mean? It's like when you're in a hunt, that little stuff doesn't bother you. And when you're in a hunt, Sean and Taylor in a hunt, when they were down to one car for a couple of weeks, it didn't bother them. It didn't stop their numbers. You know what I mean? When Omar went through some stuff, it didn't stop him. He's continuing to fight. He's going through stuff. He's dealing with stuff, but he's still going for that fight. He's still going for greatness. Same thing with you, Mia, fighting through the things that you're doing and just having that momentum continuing. And, we were texting the other day, and, well, heck, the text you sent me this morning, like freaking out, like, can I read the text you sent me?
Yeah, you can read it.
She said to me early this morning, I'm so nervous. We are seriously tracking for national manager. I need to do something drastic to make sure we hit it. She's freaking out because they're tracking for it. That's the kind of text that you want early in the morning. It's like, I was like, I can deal with that kind of freak out. You know what I mean? That's a good kind of freak, but she's setting herself free, and she's setting so many people on her team free, and leading by example of how she's setting herself free. And it's got her team fired up because she's fired up, chasing something, and they're chasing something, and they're seeing the results happen, and the momentum's getting there. And she's getting, her team's hot. They're hot. You know what I mean? They're more than double what they did in December already. They're almost they're going to triple what they did in December this month. 2 months ago you did 30,000. You're going to be over 90,000 in February, and February is a short month. In that aspects that you're doing this stuff. What kind of changes have you seen with the guys on your team, the guys and girls on your team? Like, what changes have you seen them make?
Oh gosh, we communicate a lot. We have people going through stuff all the time. I have a guy who he is pushing through so much right now, being laid off from his job, being car wrecks and all types of crazy stuff, but he's still issuing business. He's communicating regularly. I have people who are just passionate, like they know what they want, and they're communicating their goals, and whatever I can do to help them hit their goals, that's what we're doing. But it's just that, I mean, we are, so in the dream team, specifically Terry and Tia's organization, we are on fire. I mean, when we get on our team calls on Monday evenings, people are so fired up. It is exploding. And I just think that's what it is. The only difference that I see now is people are not only excited, but they're working. And we always tell people that if there's no one person on our team who is not working, making money. So not only are we putting money in their bank account, they're being part of a great team. They're traveling because we're going to all these events. It is just something that I can't even describe to you how exciting this is. I would say that God's hand is on our business. God's hand is on your business, Andy. It's on Taylor, you and Sean and Omar, Terry and Tia. That's what's happening in our team. And when you're building with the right heart, when you're doing this with people that really are excited and on fire, God will meet you where you are. So that's it. That there's nothing that's really good. There's nothing that's going to stop us from getting this goal. We're going to hit 2 million probably before October. You keep saying October. I'm like, what? We're almost there. So we just got to keep going.
Halfway there.
Hey, we're almost there, halfway there, whatever you want to say.
You hit your goals earlier than you thought. I'm okay hitting mine earlier than I thought too. Well, don't worry, we'll get it with me. So awesome job, me. Awesome job, guys. I appreciate you jumping on this call. Guys, hopefully this call serves as a reminder to you guys of your goals that you set back in January. Hopefully it's a remind you that you need to execute this year. And if you're falling off from what your goals are in mid-February, let's get back on track and get to them. You can change things so quick in your life and your business. These three people, I think, are great examples how they changed things in the last couple of months, and it's just exploding and changing things they do. The Alliance needs your wins. The Alliance needs your story. The Alliance needs your example. Let's go out there and make it happen. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Record.